Yo, what's the word? It's your boy Fat. Just sliding down the highway on a little road trip. But on my road trip, I tend to listen to little podcasts and things like that on YouTube. And I get a lot of relationship and men and women, diverse and strained relationship type of content that pops in. And I heard a lot of women saying that majority of the single moms be leaving abusive relationships and mind draining relationships and things like that. And I'm by far not saying men are perfect in any way, or we don't contribute to some of the bullshit that goes on. But a lot of that mental draining and mental stress that women complain about, they actually do it to themselves by always trying to figure out a way to outsmart a motherfucker, for a lack of better words. But I'm gonna say 80% of them come into the relationship already misleading with pretty much everything, because they never really tell you. For motherfuckers who be wanting help on bills, they lie about the amount of the bills first off. Rent may be $950, $800, and I'm in St. Louis, so rent like that. Rent might be $800, $900, $1,000. Off the rip, they gonna always tell you it's at least $200 to $400 more than what it actually is. So that's misleading right there. Light bill could be $88. They gonna tell you it's $200. Apartment may be all electric. They gonna tell you that they got a gas bill. They gonna tell you they pay sewer and trash and all these other bills, and then they gonna lie about the amount in which the bills even cost. So a lot of women come into the relationship or come into the situation already lying and misleading. And when they say they mentally drained, it's because they can't think of a new way to manipulate the situation. And this is for when they being called out on shit, and then they trying to smooth that over or explain that away. That's when they call themselves mentally drained, because first off they wonder, why are you even calling me out on my bullshit? So a lot of the time when you hear these women saying they was abused and mentally drained, it was because the guy started seeing through their BS, and it became harder and harder for them to manipulate the situation or, game their way into some shit or whatever. But one thing I've always said is your game only go as far as your knowledge. Again, your game only goes only as long as your knowledge. Because if you're not aware of something, then you don't know. But once you're aware of something, you know, that's where the term game, recognized game come from. Because you got to be aware of it to be able to recognize it. If you unaware of it, you ain't going to recognize the game that's being ran. You see what I'm saying? But yeah, a lot of the times when you hear these women saying they mentally drained, they was mentally abused, it's because the height of their game ran out. And it became evident that they were full of shit and they couldn't think of a way to explain it away. And they was forced to look into a mirror. Somebody held a mirror up to them and showed them themselves when they thought they was being slick and everything was okay. They didn't know the whole time the guy was able to see through all the bullshit and he was just tolerating it and putting up with it or looking past it or, you know, not really paying it that much attention or didn't really give a fuck to that degree. But once that mirror's held up and you show them and let them know that, nah, you ain't being slick, I just been letting you. Oh man, you abused mentally. You ain't right. You sassy for even pointing out what it is. You know, they bullshit. Now you sassy because why is you even pointing out bullshit? So yeah, when I hear a lot of these women saying they were mentally, you know, they were abused. When I hear them run to that, I know right off the bat that they're a game running motherfucker. But like I said, one more time, the height of your game only goes as far as your knowledge. So, and believe it or not, most women run a game all from the same playbook. And this is something I'm telling you, this has pretty much been a fact out of my 40 years living. I got 4 sisters and I was raised by a single mom after being born in wedlock. So I kind of know women's. But yeah, my bad. Where was I at? I was finna give y'all a jewel. Give me a minute, it's gonna come back to me. It's gonna come back to me. Like I say, after being born in wedlock, I got 4 sisters and a mother who raised me single. So my knowledge of women is extensive. Women are pretty much all the exact same. And I know a lot of people gonna say a lot of, you know, but women are pretty much all the exact same. You can be a certain type of guy for 1,000 women, but men on the other end, we're all different. Although we kind of partake in a lot of the same things, when it comes down to what matters to a man, it all differs from man to man. But when it comes down to what matters to a woman, It's all the same all the way across the board. So, with that being said, sometimes women got to slow down on the game running and try to first understand and see if this man is even aware of that game you even trying to run, or at what level should you jump in with it. Because sometimes, man, I'm gonna tell you something, dudes be done heard it all, and it almost be like it comes out verbatim from every woman. Some of them just got their own look. Only thing they got their own little spin they try to put on it, but it all be the exact same game, in the exact same order, verbatim. And when I tell women that, man, they lose it. But it's true. So, yeah. When you hear these women talking about they been mentally abused, 9 times out of 10, she was trying to run some game and the nigga held the mirror up to her. He stopped letting her stop letting her getting away with explaining bullshit away. He started holding up that mirror to her, and that's where the mentally drained part come in at. Gotta stay woke out here, fellas. Because no matter what the world is turned into today, or how liberal or how equal they say things are, is all just an illusion. And to all the people that's buying into it, y'all are all a part of the problem. Y'all are all a part of the problem. Any woman that could fix their mouth to say, I don't need a man, all because she is able to go to the store and buy some shit, is delusional. All is pretty much lost, because they is wholeheartedly locked into that conviction, and you can't tell them nothing different. And it's crazy, because every time they can fix their phone, fix their hand to dial 911, they saying, I need a man. Anytime you run your car into the shop to get that oil change, you're saying, I need a man. It don't matter that you're paying for it, you need a man. Because it ain't women changing y'all oil, I'm sure. Every time your little cousin them that came and flushed the motherfucking tampons down the toilet and that motherfucker backing up, and you call that plumber, you're saying, I need a man. So, to fix y'all face and say, I don't need no man because you got a couple dollars you can go buy some shit, you already is in a delusion. In a delusion so far gone that it's crazy. Man, y'all gotta stay woke out here. I ain't come to bash women or nothing, but I do like to call people out on their bullshit. And I was just listening to these podcasts, and I just heard like 3-4 women speak. I'm like, damn, they all just said the exact same thing in each podcast. It's crazy. And they be so locked in and stuck in them convictions. That shit just be like law down there, it has no merit, and they be wrong as a bitch. And it kind of hurt black men's feelings that our sisters be that mentally screwed over to where they always feel like they smarter than everybody. And people who run themselves crazy thinking everybody else crazy. A motherfucker would drive themselves crazy trying to outsmart everybody else. Trying to figure out how to outsmart everybody else. They'll run themselves crazy. And that's where a lot of the trauma comes in. Outside of what we know to be real trauma, like somebody physically beating on you, or somebody took advantage of your innocence as a child. We know about those things. But outside of all of that, because they all love to use the same things because they see how people respond to those statements. When you hear a woman say, "Oh, I was abused," they see how the world respond a certain way. So everybody gravitate towards that. They want that same response when they try to explain away they bullshit and save face. And that's why most of them never grow past being 16, 17 mentally, because they never really hold themselves accountable. And when you lie to yourself repeatedly, constantly, persistently, just ongoing, and that shit works, they'll just keep running to them for it to work. And keep them stuck. With an adolescent attitude, an adolescent mindset, and they never really grow into a full grown woman. It don't even matter if you do got that degree or you could go buy some shit. Some of y'all still are socially 16 years old mentally. But yeah, man, y'all better stay woke. And I would say keep y'all foot on their motherfucking neck. Because this day and age, we already know what's really going on.